approximately 35% stakes winners from foals from mares carrying La Troyenne. 35%. That is an astounding figure in thoroughbred breeding. In fact, it was so bad that it took 8 years for Distorted Humor to get his first stakes winner that had no La Troyenne. That horse's name was Jimmy Creed. And so far, Jimmy Creed appears to be having very similar luck to his father in getting good quality horses from mares carrying La Troyenne. And that is not, we do not believe that to be a coincidence or an accident. So anyway, back to Arrogate. We would love to see him getting mares with AP Indy, possibly Miswaki, Woodman. Mares by More Than Ready would be great here, given More Than Ready's lines of La Troyenne and being from his Hail to Reason line, male line. So we think that those will be great crosses for him. Any 49er would help Arrogate in his stud career. And would also like to see Tappet. Tappet Arrogate has a 5-5 double of In Reality. And, we feel that this would certainly help him. In Reality seems to always love more of himself wherever he is present. And Tappet has certainly proven that over the last several years with his offspring. And I have no reason to believe that Arrogate will be any different. Next up, I would like to cover Gunrunner. And Gunrunner, I have a Nick prediction for him that I will take to the grave with me. And that prediction is that Daughters of Bernardini will be the best suited for Gunrunner. And the reason for that is that any cross with Gunrunner, any mare of Bernardini would give a 4x4 cross of Quiet American, both in the tail female lines of the sire and the broodmare sire, which time has proven is a successful pattern to try to get. Not only is it same generation in both parents, but it is also in a very influential position within the mare and the sire. So we'd love to see Bernardini mares go to Gunrunner. Any other lines of Fabiano unbridled would be welcome. Any pulpit lines would be welcome. We'd also like to see some. We'd also like to see some Boston Harbor, get some Olympia blood in there. Any Danzig really would be welcome, as long as the lines of Danzig are not, the mare's a solid mare with bone. I just want to remind everybody first that the soundness should always be a primary concern of every breeder. Just a little personal story. I had a homebred that ran a little over a week ago on Friday night, and he placed fourth after having a bit of a layoff, and he got back to the barn safely, but then blew out his knee a few days later. His knee apparently had swelled up to the size of a softball approximately, and subsequently had to be euthanized because of he basically really badly broke his knee. And so always keep soundness in mind. The mother of the foal had 55 starts, and so she was about as hickory could be. And the sire, Officer Rocket, also had a pretty decently long career. So, we didn't have any reason to believe that there would be any soundness issues there. But just always keep that in mind when you're breeding to, make sure that you are breeding sound horses and as correct as you can for the most part. So that's my PSA for this show. So other things we'd like to see to Gunrunner, maybe some Freud. Gunrunner is out of a Giant's Causeway mare, so if we can get some Freud blood going on there, that would probably be beneficial. So one more I'd like to cover would be Astern, who is an Australian-bred son of Medaglia d'Oro, out of a Exceed and Excel mare. So when we talk about lines of horses that are foreign bred, and they're, especially when they come from female families that might not always be recognizable, it's really helpful to go into Pedigree Query and try to look a little deeper at the lines to see what's there. And but one striking ancestor that comes out in the 5th generation is My Charmer, who of course is the dam of Seattle Slough. Her son Lomond is present in the pedigree of Astern, and so we would like to see any Seattle Slough go into the pedigree, especially if you can get My Charmer in the same generation in both parents, which would put Lomond and Seattle Slough in the same generation. So half-brother crosses we feel would be great here. Roan Rocket is also in the pedigree, who is also in the pedigree of Frankel, who should be having some daughters race, and they'll probably be retiring as their careers come to an end, his first fillies anyway. So maybe like to see some Frankel fillies go to Astern, who is at Darley in Kentucky. And let's see what else we have. El Prado, Medaglia d'Oro. So let me say this about Medaglia d'Oro. Medaglia d'Oro has a let's say a genetic equivalent, or close enough to the right answer, in a stallion that I profiled in Virginia a few years back named Friend or Foe. Friend or Foe's dam Unbridled Star is very similarly bred to Medaglia d'Oro himself. And anytime you can get genetic equivalents together in a pedigree, you can expect a little more predictable results. Although I should mention, just as a general caveat, that nothing we propose on this show is guaranteed to produce success. Everybody should know that this is definitely horse racing, and anything can happen in horse racing, both good and bad. So please take these with any advice provided here just with a grain of caution, and to use your own judgment. We'll try to give you some ideas and some thoughts on some successes that we see. And so Kitten's Joy, or not Kitten's Joy, but Friend or Foe has produced virtually all winners. He's only had one foal to race that hasn't won and broke his maiden. Friend or Foe was bred by Chester and Mary Broman up in New York, and they continue to send mares down to him in Virginia to breed for their New York bred program in New York for their operation up there. And they're having pretty good success with his offspring so far. All right, so we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will have Mike Pons with us from Country Life Farm. Mike, are you there? Mike, are you there?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Jared.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Good. So I'm going to bring you on the air here, and we'll have our little thing. Okay.
Alrighty.
Okay, and we are back with Mr. Mike Pons of Country Life Farm, and just want to say that our guest has been a mainstay of the thoroughbred breeding and racing industry in Maryland, and we would like to welcome Mr. Mike Pons of Country Life Farm and Maryland Farms in Maryland. How are you this evening, Mike?
I'm doing great, thanks. We had the 84th Maryland Horse Breeders yearling show today at Timonium, and there was, oh gosh, maybe not 100, but somewhere near that, probably 85 or 90 horses exhibited yearlings. And Rick Violet, the New York trainer, and he was formerly head of the NYPHA, was the judge today. They did a very nice job, but it was 5 hours in the hot sun, so and it was a long day, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's been
and it's a great way to see the young yearlings, the young crops of the new Maryland stallions that there's so many in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so you have Super 99, who I think had some offspring in that crop. His first offspring.
Yes, his first crop of two.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
He's turned out very nicely. He's a very handsome son of Pulpit, a chestnut, and one of those kind of horses physically. I remember asking Ned Toffee, a Spendthrift farmer, what's he look like? He said, if you don't like him, you don't like horses. And he's just an absolutely marvelous-looking horse. And he could be a really nice stallion here in this region. Very fast horse. He beat Shaking It Up, who stands at Spendthrift his first time out.
Great.
He was not just a sprinter. He was third in the Santa Anita Derby. He won the Southwest Stakes at Oaklawn, which is a prep for the Arkansas Derby, by 13 lengths. So, he was a kind of a multidimensional, but a horse who liked to be on the front end and a very fast horse.
Great. And you also have Mosler, who's your first-year stallion. His first babies hit the ground this year, I believe?
Yes, Mosler is a war front, and Mosler, he's out of a mare named Gold Vault, and if you ever go to the old-time banks and savings and loans, Mosler did all the safes, and that was the company that made all the big safes. You'd see the big tumblers and all that, where the guys would open up, put the money in at night. He's a war front that was $1 million Keeneland September yearling. He's got a brother who sold for $2 million, who won Group 1 in England as a 2-year-old. A sister contested who won Grade 1, later sold for like $3 million. A beautiful family. And he bred 102 mares a year ago, and he's probably got 70-some foals this spring. So we're excited about him. And the babies are a beautiful uniform. They're gray, stout-looking guys with a star on their forehead, just like him.
Great. And so I'd like to go now to Friesen Fire, who just recently had his first Grade 1 winner in Army Mule. And what has that meant to Country Life Farm?
Well, Friesen Fire was the first of the stallions when we sort of retooled our stallion barn. The first year back was 2012. Currently, he's the leading sire in Maryland, second leading in the Mid-Atlantic, and all he's missing is a Group 1 winner, a star, and Army Mule is unbeaten in 3 starts, and he's absolutely brilliant. He brought $825,000 as a 2-year-old at Timonium, which kind of blew us out of the water. And then
I remember
took a little while to get to the races.
Yeah, I remember you told me he was a late May foal and on like a July 10th cover, something like that.
Well, no, I don't think that was him.
Okay.
We had another one. There was a Super 99 in the May sale this year.
Okay.
That was a July 14th cover, a June 14th foal. And he had a huge work, and he brought $100,000. And I'm thinking,
wow,
how does he do that? He looked like a grown man out there. So
right.
That was a Super 99. Looks very precocious. So I'm hoping that he'll get some time off, but then maybe we'll see him running, this summer, late summer or fall.
Great. Okay. So I see Freedom Child also has had a pretty good season so far by any measure. And how do you see him progressing through the ranks, and what mare lines would you like to see bred to Freedom Child? It seems he's clearly feeding off.